Hello guys and welcome to today's video. So today we are back finally after about a year and a couple months with the tier list. Sort of, I would say, a new and improved. However, it's taken a little bit of work. Still not 100% sure on it, so I'm sure you guys will help me out with the rankings in the comments down below. If you have any opinions, please do leave them down below. This is all my opinion, so any input would be great. If it changes my mind or if I think, oh yeah, I didn't quite think of that, I can add it in to improve the tier list, making it sort of a community tier list or at least a tier list for the channel. So the way I've done it is, and funnily enough, I actually wanted to present it this way, but the way that the PDF has presented it is you've got your top 5 champions in the class, so one above all, and this is the best champion, the tier, and then as you go down, you can see, then we go to, champs in second, third, fourth for each class, and then finally the champs in last, which we'll probably miss out, given that it's the first tier list, we will go through them, but they're really, because they are the bottom tier champs, other tier lists on YouTube, or like Vega, Legacy, those type of people, they leave those bottom tier champs out. I like to include everyone, or at least everyone that I can remember, just to make it a bit more interesting to see where potentially your favourite champ lands, or the champ you really enjoy playing. So without any further ado, let's jump in to the one above all tiers, and the top 5 class for up first is Cosmic. So these won't change much from the top 10s. They shouldn't really, as those videos weren't too long ago, but there are a couple changes here and there. So Hercules is, of course, the one above all. Then we've got Hulkling, CGR, Gallon, and the Serpent. The Serpent there had 2 stars, basically meaning that you want his SIG level. The problem I did have was I had a single star. If you guys remember in previous tier lists, I'd have single star for just they want their SIG, but every champion really wants their SIG other than a few, so having a star against everyone sort of means nothing. So what I've done is 2 stars really means their awakened ability makes them that much better. So for the Serpent, he gets that immortality, he gets a few more buffs, he becomes unblockable. For Domino just here, she gets critical failure, which is massive to her kit. And of course Hercules is supposed to have 2 stars. Obviously, I've left that out accidentally, and he has 1 star, but he also gets that immortality, so the big boost. Obviously, CGR, Hulkling, Gallon, they all want their SIG. That's pretty obvious, so I've not gone and put that with them. You can also see the Brick. The Brick is just their amazing, strong defender. The Serpent is supposed to have one. Again, he was the last person I did before saving this tier list. So unfortunately, I must have missed that off. But of course, we all know how good the Serpent is. So that's the top 5. I think I'm pretty happy with that top 5 of Cosmic Champs. Hercules, you have to take him out of these lists because he is just so broken. However, I like to include him, so there we go. So now on to Mutant. With the Mutant class, plenty of discussion down in the comments on my last top 10 video about Kitty Pryde shouldn't be number 1. And I think I agree with you guys. Having used her more and more since coming back to the game, you can tell she's still a very strong champion, very big crits, but for a lot of the content, if you have an Onslaught or an Archangel or a Domino, those are champions you potentially want to use in just everyday matchup, especially Battlegrounds. And I think, for me, that's a little bit more important. So I have got Onslaught as number 1. Of course, he is a great defender, so he has the Brick. Kitty Pryde is still in second, though. I'm not going to throw her down too much. I think while she's 6-star, Archangel's only 6-star, Apocalypse is only 6-star, only Domino's the 7. I don't quite think Domino on the offensive end makes up enough to be able to be the number 2. So she does come in the 5th spot. But again, with her Brick emoji, obviously amazing defender, and with the critical failure, you really want her awakened. In the Mystic, we've got Magic in there. She would be obviously the best champion if she wasn't 5-star limited. She may as well not even be on the tier list, but I'd like to include her. This is the first change. Juggernaut was number 5 from the top 10s. We've brought in an Enchantress. Just a horrible defender, probably one of the strongest in the game with the Serpent. So I think she warrants being in at number 5. Potentially she will grow, but for now, you can only really, not many people have got her. We've only had to fight against her, and just fighting against her, you know how annoying she is. Limited counters as well doesn't help anyone. So having just sort of Luke Cage and a couple other champions with that debilitate does make her a very, very tricky champion. Chavez comes in as number 1, Doom as 2, Absorb Man 3, Kushala 4, and Enchantress 5. Again, Kushala and Enchantress could jump above Absorbing Man and Doom, being 7 stars, but I think 6 stars Ascended aren't that different to 7 stars rank 1 and rank 2. Of course, with a rank 3, it's massively different, but as a rank 1 or 2, a rank 1 Kushala isn't better than a rank 5 Ascended Absorbing Man or Doctor Doom. Factually, they aren't, I don't think. I think Ascended rank 5, fully sigged, fully maxed out, is the same as a 7-star rank 2, maybe rank 3, I can't remember. But it's one of those two, so yeah, whether they're a 7-star or not, at this moment in time, doesn't really matter. They will eventually fall off, that is 100% true, and I do agree with that. But I do think, for a moment, Doom and Absorbing Man can hold their own in the top of the top 5 in the Mystic, but Chavez just takes over with the damage that she's able to do on defense being very annoying. We've talked through her in the top 10, so this is more just a visit to the tier list. So that's your Mystic top 5. In Science, Titania, Scorpion, Spider-Ham, Photon, Hulk, Quake also there. Quake's not coming. We've just seen that announcement on the forum. There is no plans for her to come. She probably never will come, so again, completely irrelevant. Titania stays as number 1. Scorpion, I've used more and more since my Science top 10, and everyone was in the comments saying how good he is. He is amazing. He is definitely the second best, potentially the best, but again, so many people want to say that 7 stars are stronger and you can't have Doom and you can't have Absorbing Man. If that's true, you have to stay consistent and have Scorpion on that same level. So let's quickly go and do not disturb it, just because. Very unprofessional, of course. But yeah, Scorpion and Spider-Ham, I think, are close too. I think Scorpion just edges him, but as time goes on, Spider-Ham, Hulk, and Photon probably all will take over Scorpion, but still a great champion. Hopefully, we'll see him as a 7-star. Skill, Kate Bishop's by far the best. Nick Fury's second. I have removed Kingpin from the list. I just don't feel... I wasn't confident in the top 10, but I thought I'd stick him out there and see your guys' opinion. You agree, Kingpin really isn't that strong, and for that reason, I'm taking him out. He is still in the top 10, say, or he's in the next list, but I think Bullseye takes his place being such an amazing defender and quite a good attacker with the guaranteed crits. Shang-Chi much stronger. Chilf, very, very great champion. The more I use her, the more I love her, and Nick Fury, of course, has to remain. And you can see Ant-Man Future is number 1, Shuri is number 2, Ghost 3, Iron Man, OG, and Warlock. Hard list, the tech very, very weak class. Prowler potentially coming in. That will be interesting to see the more I use him, but for a moment, he's just missed out. My ISO is low, I can't use him too much. Looking at other lists, other people using Prowler, I don't think he quite edges these champions here. So now we'll move on to the second list, or the sort of 3 others. So we've got Pushing the Boundary, Definitely Upgrade, and God Tier. After this, these aren't champions you really want to be touching in the bottom 2 lists. So this is where I want your guys' opinion. I'm pretty confident in the top 5s, but in these little areas, is Hyperion better than Adam Warlock? Is Gamora better than Vox? They're the opinions that I want, because they're quite hard to... they're quite hard to place. So in here, we'll talk about a couple champions. King Groot, Deathless does remain. Venom and Knull were 2 very close to the top 5, but unfortunately with the Serpent coming in and being so strong, he must be in the list. Gladiator could potentially fall Maestro out because he's a very, very strong defender. Gore, again, a very strong defender. Of the Definitely Upgrade class, I think if Cersei was to get a 7-star, she'd be up in that Pushing the Boundary 100%. Venom Pool and Superior Iron Man and Corvus, are the next to touch that one. I potentially think Superior Iron Man could trump Gore, but Gore is still a very annoying defender. But Superior Iron Man on attack has been amazing. And then in the God tier, Arcus, Terrax, and King Groot. Survivability, King Groot needs that super high sig. Terrax and Arcus, two very, very annoying defenders, which we saw in Terrax, especially in Battlegrounds. He's always about, and Arcus in... I can't remember what it was called, but the one with Jessica Jones. Can't remember, unfortunately, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So that is sort of the list. Any changes, do let me know. This is just a brief overview, and then we'll jump into next month. We'll really jump into the details and the changes. In the Mutant, Magneto Red, Mr. Sinister, Sunspot, all those champions on that left-hand side, very close to the top 5. But I think the closest of all is definitely Dust. Very, very great champion, super strong defender. The sand is annoying, and not many people are immune to it quite yet. So I think she definitely warrants potentially being in that top 5. But for a moment, I'm not 100%. Then the class next to them, North Star, a new champion. How is he going to land? Other than that, you've got quite a few champions in there who are, have been in the contest for a long time. We're experienced with them being in there. And then on the far right, potentially Iceman. I have been using Toad for the Summer of Suffering quest, and that has been interesting. But I don't think he quite jumps up. Potentially Danny Moonstar could fall, as could Strife and White Magneto. Gambit coming a little bit higher. Same, again, as I said, with Toad. But for now, I want to hear what all you guys have to say, and then we'll talk a bit more about that in the next tier list. For Mystic, Juggernaut and the Destroyer and Werewolf are so close to the top 5. That was a really hard area to make. I think potentially Absorbing Man could fall out and Juggernaut could go in. Let me know down below what you think of that idea. Kindred, again, with the strong defender, and Sig, obviously that makes him become basically immune to death for a little while. Rintrah, still a super strong defender, as annoying as he is. Longshot has fallen down in the list, just because I don't think he quite beats out any of these champions on the tier above all. I think that's what it's called. Note the pushing the boundary tier. And Wong is another one. Fallen down, you can see Mephisto, Man-Thing. Could Ebony Maw go up? He is in the list below that one with Mephisto, Man-Thing, and Sasquatch. I think he probably can. Sasquatch could come up instead of Guillotine Deathless or Diablo. Again, let me know in the comments what you think of that. I think Sasquatch is potentially in the wrong place. But that is the Mystic. Again, leave below your comments on what changes could be made of this little bit of the Mystic tier list. We then move into Science. Human Torch, of course, Spot and Silk are very close to the top 5. Human Torch comes out, he becomes one of the best in the game again. The Leader comes in to the God tier. Not sure where to place him and Spider-Punk for this one. I think potentially they could go up. Void could be replaced, but very, very strong champion. Void. Quicksilver could also come down, but you know how much I enjoy playing with him. And then Thing is there with the, of course he gets that protection, and he's a very strong defender when he does. I think OG Spider-Man is quite comfortable in there. Cap IW could potentially drop, and She-Hulk, when she comes out as a Deathless champion, will be very, very good, and we could see her break the pushing the boundary tier. So that again is the Science class. Obviously, as I said, this may feel quite quick. It's just for you guys to get a quick idea of the tier list, and then once you've seen it, you've made your comments for October's tier list, we'll jump in, we'll move the champions around, and we'll see what you guys think of the new tier list once it has been improved and I've taken your opinions on board. Finally, I should say penultimately, the skill. Falcon is definitely too high here. He should drop down and swapped with Hitmonkey, so that's an immediate change that I can make. Although very good as a 7-star, is nowhere near as good as, say, Zemo, Hitmonkey, even Korg. The only problem is Falcon is a 7-star and they aren't. Korg is, of course. Korg, very strong defender. He needs the Thorns. Killmonger needs a very great defender. He needs the Reverberation. Moleman and Kingpin, I'm not sure if they're strong defenders. They could potentially lose the Brick. And Atum, again, he can have the Thorns, and if he does, becomes a very, very good defender. There are a few in here who could change. Black Cat could come up. Patriot, again, I'm not quite sure where to place him. Black Panther OG, Moondragon, Mantis, they could all drop for Black Cat, Stealth Spidey, and Patriot. But let me know those changes in the comments. There are some changes that I'm already thinking of. And then finally, Tech. We've got Guardian. Right at the top, I think he's very, very close with Shocker and Red Skull. Hulkbuster again. Could also be somebody in that conversation. Some very, very good champions, and I think they could push the top 5 for sure. We've then got Penny Parker, Omega Sentinel, and Arcade. Not, again, sure about Arcade, but let me know in the comments down below where you think he could fall. Should he go up into the tier above all? The pushing the boundary tier, or should he remain where he is? The only ones I've really struggled with here are Stark Spidey, Ironheart from the middle tier. Lady Deathstrike could also go up. She's been amazing for me fighting the Weapon X and Sabretooth, those type of champions. She's very, very strong. And I also think Punisher 2099 and Mysterio, could they jump up in replacement for, say, a Captain America Sam Wilson or an Omega Sentinel? They are the opinions I want from you guys in the comments. And then we'll just jump down to some of these. Have I missed anyone out? This will be very quick, swift. These are tiers who need a buff. Potentially worth upgrading. Annihilus, Super Skull, Icarus, they obviously give you strong defense. Into Mutant, not much change here. No one who really deserves to be spoken about. Nightcrawler potentially could move up after his buff, but again, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of that? Do you think Nightcrawler should jump, or should he remain there? He could potentially go up into the Cable and the worth upgrading tier, but I'm not sure. With the Mystic, Ebony Maw is probably the next to jump up, but it's tough to break that area. And the rest of the champions in there really are quite poor. The Science was where I struggled. I think MODOK is quite a handy defender, potentially better than, say, a Yellow Jacket. But is Yellow Jacket got that, or has he got that ability on offense that MODOK doesn't? Electro and Wasp, annoying defenders, but not exactly game-breaking or super tricky, maybe Electro. And then finally, penultimately, onto the skill. I think of all of these, Misty Knight is the only 7-star who, or new 7-star who could jump up. Silver Sable has fell in there and will stay in there. She is a very, very poor champion. And unless she gets buffed in the rebalancing program, which I imagine she will probably stay there for good. And then in the Tech, I do think that Yondu could jump and Nebula could jump up, but other than that, those champions are pretty stable. And then we'll have the worst champions in their class: Drax for the Cosmic, Beast for Mutant, Iron Fist for Mystic, OG Captain America for the Science, Moon Knight for Skill, and then Iron Patriot for Tech. So that does it for the tier list. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. As I've mentioned, it's just a quick run through. It's not supposed to be in depth. It's just a quick run through of where I've placed people, and then you let me know down below in the comments who you would move in each class. I will change it, and then for next month it will be more edited to what the comments say and how my opinions have changed within the game, how the meta changes, and then we'll do another video that way. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please like, subscribe, and comment down below your changes. Goodbye.